I'm your host, Noah Kalk, with the Bobcat Exchange. And I'm here with,
Isaiah Diondo with the Bobcat Exchange here too.
and we are here to talk sports at Texas State. First thing we're going to talk about today is GJ Kinney and the new head coach and everything that's come with it. Isaiah, what are you thinking, and what are your first thoughts whenever you heard about the new coach, GJ Kinney?
Yeah, so I actually don't watch football too much, but when looking at it, I did a little bit of research, of course, and yeah, he actually was a former quarterback. I didn't know. He was like a little bit of a prospect growing up.
He actually played for the Eagles for a
He
short
did,
bit.
yes, he did. The Eagles and I believe the Jets too as well. I think I don't know if they're the first ones to sign him, but he was like an undrafted free agent thing, I believe.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how long he played in the
Oh, okay.
NFL, but
I couldn't either.
I know he spent some time in the league, which for a coach at an organization like this, you really can't ask for anything other than a high level athlete to be running your program.
No, yeah, it's great because he has a little bit of that, NFL experience a little bit. He can hopefully, the team has a good, bright, future coming with it, and they get some hopefully good a winning record next fall.
He seems to be a coach that has a player's mentality, which seems to me to be the most effective kind of coaches there are. And I'm excited to see what happens, honestly. He was the former UIW coach. He went 12-2 last year in the FCS. I know the FCS is not as prominent of a NCAA division, but you know what? There are a lot of great teams in it. There's a whole lot of competition. I think the fact that he went 12-2 in the FCS is pretty phenomenal. And Texas State actually lost to this UIW team. Maybe not
really?
with GJ Kinney. But you know what? I believe it was GJ Kinney's team last year in 2022 who came into Texas State's house and beat Jake Spavital. So maybe there shouldn't be so much of a diss on the FCS because they're obviously a pretty powerful team and pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think any collegiate level and just even above, it don't matter where you are to get there. It's hard. I'm not gonna lie. Some of my family actually went my cousins actually went to a D2 school. I believe it was Northwestern, or I couldn't tell you the school. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't kept in touch with them really, but they went play some college football themselves, and it's hard to get there. So with GJ Kinney. It's no joke to play collegiate.
I think the success from the FCS will definitely carry over into the FBS. Sadly, they would have won the FCS championship, but they ended up losing in the semifinals to number 3 ranked FCS North Dakota State University, 32-35.
Ooh, close one.
Which I wonder if had they gone and won that game, they would have won the FCS championship altogether. But outside of that, he signed just with GJ Kinney coming in. Outside of all his accolades, he's just brought so many young recruits in. He signed 33 recruits to the 2023 class, and 28 of them were out of Texas high schools.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know this, but in the past years, Jake Spav has had or I shouldn't say this. There hasn't been as many high school recruits as we've wanted. Over the past few years, and including the 22 season, we were kind of considered like the transfer school because we couldn't get high school kids. High school kids didn't want to play for us. So to see GJ Kinney bringing these kids in, developing these young players, you're actually creating generations of future talent here at Texas State. So even if GJ's not here after a year or so because he does so well that he has to leave, you know what? Maybe we have some Texas State players that stick around and, continue to build that program, continue to build the legacy of Texas State football.
No, yeah, no doubt it's going to bring some clout to our school to say, and maybe some more respect. And he did recruit a lot of people. He's doing a good job. Hopefully he stays though, to see what he can do in the future, and hopefully we can produce a great program.
And the counter to that is like, do you want him to do so well that he leaves? Because then we have a winning record and maybe we have a bowl game, So it's kind of like, do you want him to have a 6-8 season, or do you want him to go like 10-2 and dip off to Power 5 school? It's kind of It's a
Yeah.
push and pull situation we got here. But yeah, his recruiting has been pretty awesome. He pulled in quarterback Malik Hornsby, who is one of the fastest players out of all of college football right now. He runs a 4.40 from Missouri, Texas, and he was a transfer from Arkansas. So, anytime we're getting transfers from an SEC school, it's a pretty big deal here in San Marcos.
For sure.
Outside of that, we got defensive back Josh Eaton. Apparently, he's a pretty badass player. I haven't seen too much footage of him, but from what everyone's telling me, he's going to be a star here. So that's pretty fun to be hearing about big defensive guys like that. But outside of that, it's really been Kelly Dampus, Don Cornell, really putting all the cards together, getting GJ to come here, and actually getting to put all of this together. So props to them for putting a coach in position to put us in position to win.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And, just excited to see what Texas State football does with this.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Year.
Yes.
Outside of that, we have softball coming up, which they just had their season opener last week. I believe they played in a tournament. I know they played Wichita State, and they ended up beating Wichita State in their last game of the tournament. And the reason that's such a big win is because Wichita State was actually an NCAA tournament contender last year. So anytime a team makes it to the national tournament, it's a big deal. So the fact that we're competing with them and we beat them in a game, it's looking good for the girls.
No, yeah, no doubt. The future seems very bright for the softball team here. These girls, especially for Mullen, Jessica Mullins. Mm-hmm. She's named the SBC preseason pitcher of the year, and she looks phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, over the past year, I've had a chance of getting to watch Mullins quite a few times actually, and I gotta say she's a pretty cold-hearted stud out there. She goes out there and she's not afraid to throw 20 strikeouts in a day. She has so much. It seems like just swagger with the way she plays. She's not afraid of anybody, and she just really has a winner's mentality. I've been very impressed with what she's been able to do the past year. She was the preseason Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year.
Yes.
And she, just a few years ago, I actually heard about a story about Mullins about how she came out of high school and how just as a freshman, they put her into a really tough spot, and she pretty much was able to earn the starting pitching position just because she was so freaking talented coming out of high school. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Now she's one of the most prominent pitchers we've had. She's been on the team for another 2 years. And speaking of, other softball pitchers, outside of Mullins, we have Sarah Vanderford, who, I know I saw her play a little bit last year, had a few big games, but, just last week, Sarah just added to she just won her first Sun Belt Player of the Week award.
Yes,
so,
she did.
So we're looking at a lot of great pitching from, the softball team. I mean, just looking at what Sarah Vanderford's doing now, what Jessica Mullins has been doing in the past, it seems like they're going to be a really good team moving forward. I know that Coach has a lot of returners. I've been seeing a lot of the same girls out there working in the outfield. I know we lost our catcher, Kat Krennick, but it looks like Woodard has done a good job of replacing her. The team is looking good. Excited to see what Woodard and her brother have planned over there for us.
Yeah, Mullins and Vanderford, they look like an amazing duo. They're going to be really good. Ecstatic to see what they can do and what they can produce during the season. And they're Jessica Mullins makes me want to watch, the game. Like, she adds that little bit of oomph, to the game, and just kind of that kind of style she has, to where she can just like it makes you want to watch the game. You know,
It seems like Mullins is one of those players that everyone has on their list. Like when they play Texas State, they have to definitely work their whole game plan around her. And I think every time they see her, working out in the bullpen, getting ready, it's just like, all right, it's going to be a tough game from here on out. So that's just the kind of player Mullins is. She's a fighter, and she's really good.
Agreed. Yep, for sure.
And then outside of softball, we also have the neighbor baseball coming right up around the corner. We have a season opener coming up just tomorrow, and that's going to be against Northwestern. So that's going to be on the 17th of February. It's going to be the season opener, and what a season opener to be had because, Northwestern, Big Ten school, you really couldn't ask for a better opponent to really start off your season. I know if you really want to look good coming out of the postseason, you have to win games like this. You have to make yourself known that, hey, when I'm coming out of this season, I can take any team at any Power 5 mid-major. Just say what you want. We're a team that can handle anybody. So it's probably a must-win for Trout and the Bobcats.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. This is going to lay the foundation for the season, and I'm not just saying it'll it's going to impact them though. Is what I want to say. It's going to impact the rest of the season. How much though will depend on how good or how not good they do. But I'm looking forward to this game, the season opener, and I'm pretty sure that they'll do good.
Yeah, I feel like we'll win. I really haven't done too much research on Northwestern. I hear we're the better team. It's just the talk in the air. Maybe it's just what they say here in San Marcos. I don't know. But it'll be a good game. Last year Texas State opened with, I want to say, a series against Ohio State, and they had a big sweep. That's the same deal we could get right here. It's a great way to start the season. Power 5 opponent. Make yourself known. Make yourself known early. It's time to get it done.
Mm-hmm. And for baseball, there's also names to look out for, such as Wells, Levi Wells, that is the junior. He's was one of the 55 players named to the USA Baseball Golden Spikes Award preseason list. Wow, that's a mouthful. On Friday, I believe it was. And I think he was the first. I know he's the first Texas State player to ever be named to this list, which is it's amazing. He's making his presence known and making Texas State more known.
Yeah,
respected.
Yeah, no, and it seems like a really big accolade to be given to Levi. Levi's a great player. All through the off season, I know that I saw countless articles on him, just talking about how he's going to be a big powerhouse for us here at Texas State. Especially with us losing a few of our good pitchers. Like Tristan Stivers, Levi, and Levi Wells is definitely going to have to pick up the pace on this because it's we're always losing pitchers every year, and it's just gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, no doubt he has some big shoes to fill, but I think he can do it. I really do. It's gonna be very exciting to see him play.
Yeah, outside of Levi Wells, Tristan Dixon was also one of the players to be nominated for a preseason award. Both Tristan Dixon and Levi Wells were both picked as 2023 preseason All-Americans. So pretty big deal, and that came out of the college baseball newspaper release. Pretty big deal. I actually didn't see a whole lot of Tristan Dixon last year, so I'm really excited to see him get going and really see this baseball team take off again. I know last year, that the team, they had a great start to the season. We had a win against Power 5 opponent Ohio State. And then immediately after that, we went over to Arizona's house and we beat them in a 2 out of 3 game series in Arizona. And I believe Arizona was ranked 11th nationally at the time. So, pretty big deal for us.
Yeah, it was a big deal. Yeah.
It was the first time, Texas State really started to say, oh, you know what? This this is not a normal team. This team's really got some swagger, really got some confidence in them. Then I want to say a few weeks after that, we had the University of Texas come to our house. And I don't know if you remember that game, Isaiah, but
I think I do, yes.
we actually were – so at the beginning of the game, I think we went down 4. Middle of the game, we had freshman first baseman Dalen Pena from Corpus Christi, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
He hit a grand slam. It was the first time he ever hit a grand slam. And, just the energy of that place was just so electric.
Yep.
Yeah, but anyways, we took the lead right there, and I couldn't tell you what happened. UT got a few more runs in, and towards the end of the game, we had the bases loaded, and we had I can't remember his name right now. We had a player that was lined up. We filled it up. Pitcher filled it up to a full count, and we had our batter sit and watch the pitch go right down the middle. I believe it was a changeup, so we went out watching. It was a really sad way to end the game. So we had the bases loaded. We lost by 1 point.
Yeah.
And the UT pitchers actually waved us off, the whole infield, you can see it if you ever go back to a video of it. You can see all the infield Texas players physically waving our bench off, saying goodbye. I mean, and I believe they were ranked number 1 nationally at this time. And I just remember watching that and just thinking, what kind of narcissistic community have these people created? I mean, I know UT's kind of annoying, but just the fact that, you're ranked number 1, you're playing a mid-major university. Are you that scared of us that you had to do that? Because we came back the next game and beat them pretty good.
Oh yeah. We that definitely got some fire in some of the players' bellies. Definitely.
Yeah, and that was such a good game to watch. I couldn't tell you how much my hands were sweating. I was just excited and anticipation. I was so nervous. And we lost the first one. But we came back the second game, and I really couldn't run you through all the details. The second game isn't as vivid in my mind, but all I know is the last play we had. I believe it's the Hispanic Titanic. I can't remember his name, but he's one of the most prominent batters in college baseball last year. We had him at home plate. We were pitching to him. We had Tristan Strivers on the mound. And at the end of the game, I believe Texas had 2 players on the bases, so they had 2 on. Hispanic Titanic on the mound, and Tristan Strivers closed him out. Tristan Strivers sent him a changeup right down the middle, and we sent the Hispanic Titanic home watching. And that guy will play in the MLB. So it's just kind of interesting how fun that game was and how big of a deal that game was, and how we walked it off with the horns down right after that. And how UT people get about that.
Oh yeah,
offended for no reason because they think it's like I don't know, a crime against humanity to stick the horns down. But I'll do it just to make them happy. But that's what I do as a Texas State citizen.
No, yeah, for sure. That game turns a lot. The first and second game, actually, even though we lost the first one, the first game and second game turned a lot of heads and towards our direction, actually. More, I would say, even more than UT's, because we were supposed to go. The UT that came in both games thinking that we're going to go down with our tail would tuck between our legs, and we fought. We really did. Especially in the first game. We didn't come out too hot, but then we woke up. Got the momentum going with that grand slam, and then just went on from there. But I remember even talking to some of my family. They were asking me. I was actually at the first game too, believe it or not. But my dad was texting me. He was like, "Hey, what scored the game?" Or oh no, he knew the score of the game, and he was like, "Hey, your team's looking like they're about to lose really bad." And then I texted him back about a few innings later. I'm like, "Hey, we can make it a comeback. It's a little closer than that people thought it was gonna be." But it surprised a lot of people, I think, and it put us really on people's radars now. And with all this talent we have now, and with Wells and Tristan, Yeah, I believe it's going to be one hell of a season, honestly.
It seems like it was more impressive for Texas State to be able to, obviously, like when you lose a game against a team that's that good. So like the way they lost by 1 point the first game. I mean, that's dehumanizing. You're playing the number one team in the country. You got that close to beating them, but you were still that far. There's nothing. It's not much harder to come back from that. So it's to come back game 2 at their house and to deliver the pain of a lifetime is just. I mean, I'll be a Texas State baseball fan for life because there's just not much. There's not anything more impressive than that. Just overcoming adversity at all costs. It's just awesome.
Oh yeah.
And then outside of the Texas game, that was obviously a big game. They were ranked number 1. We beat them. I think we went on to be ranked the rest of the season after that. We got into the postseason. Texas State lost to Louisiana Raging Cajuns, I believe, in the second round of the Sun Belt tournament. And when they did that, they we thought the season was over. We had such a good season. We beat so many big Power 5 teams, and we were wondering, what's going to happen next with Texas State? Like, is there a chance we get selected? Are we that good? It seemed like we were that good. Yeah. And then the selection show happened, and we actually got picked to go to Stanford, playing the Stanford Regional, and we all remember how that went. We ended up beating UC Santa Barbara in the first round, and we ended up losing to Stanford in the second. So just it was a real heartbreaker the way we lost to Stanford. But if you look at Stanford, they've been in Omaha. I don't know if I had the statistic with me, but I want to say they've been in Omaha the last like 10 years. So they're just a team that's always there. They're just always good, and they're just they're a recruiting powerhouse for baseball. And if you saw the games and how they went, you could tell they had so many weapons so deep, and it seemed like Texas State didn't have as deep of a barrel of options to go to. But it makes sense. We're a smaller school. We don't seem to have the same recruiting budgets, and we don't have the same recruiting power. So I'm just hats off to the boys, hats off to Steven Trout, and for having such a badass season. And I think we're all looking forward to what he'll do this year.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I honestly want to see if they can top that last season. Do you think it's possible for them to top last season?
I not only think it's possible. Maybe even last year helped us recruit more. Maybe we got stronger recruits. Maybe we're building that that fan base that ends up feeding our recruiting pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
I think there's a lot of things that could be positive for us, but we did lose Tristan Strivers, and I forgot Dalton Shuffield. Dalton Shuffield was hit over 500 the whole season, Sun Belt Player of the Year, just a guy that is always getting on base. We don't have him anymore. And then we also don't have Tristan Strivers, who is a pitcher who is just sick with the ball, and he can make you look, and he'll make you miss. I don't know what he does on the plate, but he's good at it. So he will be missed. But like I said, I think we're going to be filling in those gaps. I think that we, like Levi Wells, like Tristan Dixon, we'll be fine. I'm just really excited to see what Trout does. I think I'm just excited with Trout and seeing a lot of the returners come back this year, especially guys like Dalen Pena. I've talked to Dalen a few times, really cool guy. Just really excited for the season. Can't wait to let it get going.
Yep, I'm looking forward to 100%. All the seasons really, but especially right now, especially because it's time of the year in the season, baseball, especially softball, especially it's their time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Isaiah, I think that's all for today.
Yep. It sounds about that time. Thank you. This is Bobcat Exchange, and this is your host Isaiah Deonda,
Noah Kalk,
and we'll see you next time.